Greetings. This is Elaine Tung, Chair of the Affordable Housing Trust. Thank you for listening to our presentation on Article 10E. The Affordable Housing Trust is asking that town meeting approve its request to fund the trust with CPA funds in the amount of $3 million for fiscal year 2026. Substantially funding the trust is key to the trust's effectiveness. Housing is the number one priority in the Commonwealth. 200,000 homes must be built in order to meet the projected housing demand by 2030. We are currently 55,000 homes short of stabilizing the housing market. Housing costs and rents are at record highs. Foreclosures and evictions are on the rise. People are moving out of state due to housing costs. Housing is also one of the top priorities in Lexington. The 2022 Lexington Next Comprehensive Plan states as one of its top goals to promote a wide range of housing options that respond to the needs of households regardless of income and life stage. In addition, one of the Select Board's top stated goals is to increase diversity of housing stock in size, accessibility, price, and availability of affordable housing. People with modest wage jobs don't have enough income to pay for housing and get ahead. Lower income households bear the brunt of housing shortages. Think about housing shortage in terms of musical chairs. Each chair is a unit of housing. Adding more chairs allows more people to play. When the music stops, then who loses out? It's the people who can't afford to sit on the chair. In the housing market, you need to have money to stay in the game. This chart shows how those at lower incomes are disproportionately cost burdened by housing costs. HUD defines household as cost burden if they are paying more than 30% of their income on housing. Severely cost-burdened households are paying more than 50% of their income on housing. In general, as you get into lower income ranges, the vast majority are paying more than half of their income for housing. Subsidized housing is affordable housing that helps people with low incomes pay rent. This can take the form of federal or state-funded public housing that's administered by a local housing authority like our Lexington Housing Authority, Section 8 vouchers, which currently have an approximate 7 to 10-year waiting list, and multifamily subsidized housing, such as what is envisioned to be built on the Lowell Street Parcel 6844 site in Lexington. There are approximately 2,750,000 households in Massachusetts, of which 1 million are renter households. 200,000 of those renter households are severely cost-burdened. The Commonwealth's subsidized affordable housing production is less than 1% of the need every year, so not even 2,000 out of 200,000 severely cost-burdened households is being helped by subsidized housing. Subsidized housing production alone, therefore, cannot even begin to close the gap. The American Council for an Energy-Efficient Economy researched household energy burdens in 25 of the largest metro areas and found that a significant share of low-income households face severe energy burdens defined as the share of household income spent on energy. If a household has an energy bill that exceeds 10% of income, the energy burden is considered severe. 50% of the low-income residents in the Boston metropolitan area have an energy burden around 13%, and 25% of low-income residents have an energy burden above 22%, so 75% of low-income residents have a severe energy burden. Households with severe energy burdens often face difficult choices between paying energy bills and paying for other essentials like food, health insurance, and medicine. Even though Lexington is one of the wealthiest towns in the Commonwealth, approximately 44% of Lexington renters are struggling. The white portion of the top bar shows renters that did not respond to the census, so the percentage may be even higher. For Lexington homeowners, the percentages go down, but still at unacceptable levels. Approximately 24% of Lexington homeowners are struggling to get by. We have to keep in mind that the bar to owning a home in Lexington is already at a much higher income level, so it makes sense that the percentages of those homeowners who are challenged to meet household costs decrease. When you consider the previous chart of the Boston area low-income residents paying up to 22% of household income for energy, and the large number of Lexington residents who are paying above 30% or even above 50% of their household income on housing, we can understand how many of these households have difficulty making ends meet. People often look at a community's subsidized housing inventory, or SHI, as an indication of the acceptable number of affordable homes and for determining a community's compliance with Chapter 40B, Massachusetts Comprehensive Permit Law. Under Chapter 40B, in any municipality where less than 10% of its housing stock qualifies as affordable, a developer can build more densely than the municipal zoning bylaws would otherwise permit. So this is something we need to avoid. Typically, if a development has 20 to 25% of units that are limited to households with income of no higher than 80% area median income, AMI, all of the development's units will be counted towards the town's SHI. This figure, however, is misleading as it counts all units within the development, the majority of which are priced at market rate. The state currently counts 1,352 homes, or 11.03% of Lexington's housing stock, as affordable. However, this includes 657 market rate homes. In actuality, only 695 homes, or 5.6%, are truly affordable for lower-income households. There's been a lot of talk about the number of inclusionary or affordable units that are part of the MBTA multifamily developments coming into Lexington. On some of these developments, up to 15% of the units in these developments are affordable to those households with incomes of 80% AMI. This does not mean we have sufficient affordable homes. Inclusionary housing is affordable housing geared towards one type of income level. We still need to find ways to address the needs of those with lower household incomes so they can afford to live in town. So how does Lexington address the housing crisis and the lack of affordable homes? This needs to be a two-pronged approach. First, we need to boost the supply to close the housing gap. The 2023 passage of the MBTA Communities and Special Residential District zoning bylaws is a success, as evidenced by the amount of new housing that is currently being applied for in town. While the new proposed developments have a component of affordable units for households with incomes at 80% area median income, those households with lower incomes still need to be served. We need to recognize that even if we allow the market to build enough homes and respond to market rate needs, this doesn't solve the problems for low-income households. Affordable housing development is crucial. We have made a good start with Lowell Street Parcel 6844, a 100% all-affordable development for those households with incomes ranging from 30 to 80% AMI. The second part of the solution is to provide financial support for those at the lower end of the income scale so that they can afford to live in decent quality homes without being cost-burdened. This is what LexHab and the Lexington Housing Authority are doing, and this is where the Affordable Housing Trust comes in. The Affordable Housing Trust is doing something different. We are looking to leverage trust funds to create housing that is diverse, attainable, and equitable, and specifically housing for those with area median incomes no more than 80% AMI and geared towards an average of 60% AMI or less. Since the Affordable Housing Trust is a funding entity, we would like to provide financial support in the following areas. First, as a potential financial resource for LexHab and the Lexington Housing Authority. One of the advantages of Affordable Housing Trust is that we can respond to opportunities or requests for funding in real time, so if LexHab or Lexington Housing Authority has an urgent request, we are able to respond nimbly and quickly. Second, as a resource for local contribution and funding if and when the need arises for affordable housing developments such as Lowell Street Parcel 6844. We will also be looking at other possibilities and opportunities in the future for affordable housing developments. Third, funding the lower affordability levels of housing. The Affordable Housing Trust is speaking to developers who have applied to the Planning Board for approval of MBTA multifamily developments. We are discussing options such as creating additional affordable housing units by buying down a market rate unit to a lower income unit, buying down the affordability of an inclusionary unit to a lower income unit, and/or changing an inclusionary unit from a smaller bedroom size to a larger bedroom size. Fourth, establishing a program for Lexington resident financial support. In order to make housing more affordable, we are looking to establish programs that another entity administers that are not already being provided, such as down payments for a purchase, first and last month's rent, subsidized rental payment, or subsidized energy cost payment, and finally, purchasing an existing affordable housing unit if it appears it will become a market rate unit. In its short infancy, the Affordable Housing Trust has already started addressing both creation of housing and providing financial support in order to execute its charge to preserve and create affordable housing for low and moderate income households. We identified a town-owned parcel of land, parcel 6844, sponsored a town meeting article, issued a request for proposal, recommended an affordable housing developer to the Select Board, and negotiated a land disposition agreement subject to Select Board approval. We are currently in discussions with developers who have submitted applications to the Planning Board to see if we can create additional affordable housing or buy down the affordability of an inclusionary unit. We have also advocated at the state legislature for the passage of bills that would provide additional funds to the Affordable Housing Trust, including the town's home rule petitions for commercial and residential development surcharges. The bill for the surcharge on commercial development was signed into law by the governor on January 9th of this year. Finally, we are able to nimbly respond to requests by LexHab and the Lexington Housing Authority, and we have a good working relationship with both organizations. Lowell Street Parcel 6844, if completed as envisioned, will create 40-100% affordable housing dwellings for households earning between 30 to 80% area median income with an average AMI of under 60%. This will begin to address the tremendous need for those households of low income. We are positive that there will be other opportunities down the road. Vine Street was purchased by the town in 2009, and a 30,000 square foot lot was voted by town meeting to be used for community housing. If town meeting votes to pass Article 23 to authorize the Select Board to dispose of 116 Vine Street for the purposes of affordable housing, the Affordable Housing Trust anticipates that the developer of Vine Street will be applying for funding. Lexington Housing Authority is also researching repositioning some of its portfolio, which HUD has encouraged local housing authorities to do. To that end, the Lexington Housing Authority manages 17 federally owned single-family scattered sites in Lexington. The Lexington Housing Authority is looking into changing those single-family sites to multifamily sites, and it has indicated that it will likely be submitting an application for funding. Massachusetts, as well as most of the country, remains in a housing crisis due to low supply, rising costs, and stagnant wages. A lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. Lexington has long been talking about increasing the town's affordable housing stock, but for years, the growth of affordable housing in town has been lagging. Past approaches have not generated sufficient homes to meet the exploding demand. We need to be creative. The Affordable Housing Trust has been working on this for a year and a half. We've made a meaningful dent, but much more needs to be done. We are all negatively impacted when affordable housing is in short supply. Housing intersects with most social issues and outcomes, from education and health to employment and safety. Homes that are affordable will help meet the needs of people across the socioeconomic spectrum. This creates opportunities for investing in Lexington's future through job creation, improved economic mobility, and revenue to the town. An adequate supply of affordable housing promotes a diverse and inclusive community while also addressing societal inequities. The Affordable Housing Trust respectfully requests that you vote yes to fund us with CPA funds in the amount of $3 million. Thank you for your time and attention.